Hello friends, how are you? My name is Mike. This channel's Health and Wealth. Thanks for joining me today, and also thank you to the over 3,600 subscribers. This channel is exploding with growth, just like what we wish our funds would do, isn't it? Let's go talk about today's announcement over at YieldMax. Today is Group B. They announced Group B's distributions. So today's announcement date, tomorrow, February 27th is going to be the X distribution date, which means that you need to have owned these shares today. If you purchase these shares tomorrow, you can expect a drop of the numbers I'm about to go over with you. Give or take the market fluctuation. Market could go up, market could go down, right? And so that could cause the price also to go up and down. But it's important to understand that the price should drop the distribution amount. Okay, so that's going to be tomorrow. And then on Friday, which is going to be the 28th, that's payday for most people. For me, up here in Canada, I get my money on Monday, which is going to be great. So let's talk about all of these. Now, there is a lot of them. So for some of them, they're not as major as the others. So I'm going to go through them a little bit quicker than the others, but let's go through them right now. So the first one here is QDTY. This is a weekly pair. 32 cents is a pretty massive distribution for this. QDTY, let me just refresh this page here. And I think this is its first payment. It is its first payment. So that's pretty impressive. Not a huge fund at YieldMax yet. $3.65 million in money assets in that fund. So that's QDTY. 0 day to expiry. They're new plays here. They have two of them. They have QDTY and then they have SDTY. So here's the price of QDTY, $49.17. If you take a look at the last 5 days, it's down, but so was the market over the last 2 days, right? And so today we're seeing a small bounce back up. But yeah, this fund just came out like 13 days ago on February 13th. So it's a brand new baby. Let me know if you're invested in this fund. Its direct competitor would be QDTE over at Roundhill. And yeah, new fund. Let's talk about the next one here. This is going to be SDTY, paying out a little bit less, but this one is on the SPY or the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is a little less volatile than the QQQ, right? The NASDAQ. So it's going to most likely pay a little bit less than QDTY. Now, this is also, I think, this might be, yeah, it's second payment, right? So first payment was 22 cents. For this one, it has $8.6 million in invested money in it. Out of the two, if I had to choose, I'd probably choose this one just because of its stability. And so we could take a look at the price here. Let's look at the last 5 days. Down 1%, 1.5%, but again, the market was down during that time. All right, next up is going to be GPTTY, the AI play, paying 31 cents. Again, this one is also a weekly pair, which means it pays every single week. 31 cents. This is going to be its fourth payment, and they hover around that 30-cent mark so far. That's good, right? Consistent is nice. Let's take a look at the share price. So not that good of a share price in the last month, down 4.9%. Or down 10% since it came out on a month and 3 days ago. So that's not good. But you know what? You get that consistent payment every month. I'm not going to talk positive. I'm not going to talk negative. It's an AI play. AI's had a bit of a rough go up until basically today over the last month. So that's possibly what's going on there. Next up is going to be LFGY crypto play here. 53 cents is huge for a weekly pair. That's a lot of money to be paying for a weekly pair. And I mean, if we look at this one, it's down 10% since it came out on January 23rd. Crypto has had a rough go over the last month here, maybe half of a month. Specifically Bitcoin, dropping from 100,000 down to 83,000 at one point. So that could have something to do with it. Let's take a look at LFGY on YieldMax's website. This is going to be its sixth payment, which is, that's pretty good. And They've been paying out massive payments every single week so far. If you guys watch this channel, my opinion is that sometimes YieldMax pays out too much money, and that helps the decline of the share price. So, yeah, I think that's too much money is what they're paying there on LFGY. Maybe if they slowed their roll a little bit, the share price might be a little more stable. But yeah, massive fund. I mean, in terms of how long it's been out, it's a massive fund, $71 million. It's not Coney, Misty, NVDY, but they've been out for a while. This is, not this is 1 month and 3 days old. So pretty massive fund so far with a lot of money in it. Now the next two are two that have been around for quite a while now: YMAX and YMEG. YMAX paying out 13 cents. Let's go find it up here. $15.41. People say, "Are you invested in YMAX and YMEG?" I'm not. I'm not a fan of the price depreciation on YMAX since it's come out here. A year here it's down 26%, and it came out January 19th. So since then, down 23%. But, you know, grain of salt, right? You are getting paid your distributions. And I'd like to go take a look at the distributions so far. So they're pretty similar here. They're hovering from 15 to 20 cents roughly. There's a couple lower months in there as well, or a couple lower weeks in there. But yeah, I mean, you got to be happy about that weekly payment. What are you doing with your weekly payment? Are you taking it and buying whatever you want with it? Or are you compounding that, dripping it back in, or maybe either auto dripping it or manually dripping it yourself? I'd be curious to know on that one for sure. Next up, we have YMAG. YMAG, 17 cents. YMAG is more stable when it comes to share price compared to the two of them, right? YMAG down 15% over the last year, but has paid out a pretty hefty distribution, which is good, right? Maybe not as hefty as YMAX, but the share price is a little more stable, and that's exactly what I was talking about a little bit earlier in the video. So that's your YMAX conversation, your YMAG conversation. Let's go to the absolute beast here. Deep breath. I mean, that's my biggest investment in YieldMax is NVDY. And I love to see $1.61. Yes, I love that, but I don't necessarily understand where they got the $1.61 from. Did they make that much money this month? I'm not sure. So I feel, just my feelings, okay? Throw on some Sam Smith in the background. I feel like maybe it's a little too much. And so what's going to happen is tonight is NVIDIA earning calls, right? So that earnings could either, boom, explode the market in a positive or a negative. And tomorrow on the X distribution date, we're going to see the share price dip $1.61 plus or minus whatever happens with NVIDIA tonight on their earnings calls. And it could dip it even lower, or, it might actually kind of stabilize and go up a little bit. So, by the way, I'm going to play the earnings call tonight. It's at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me live. We're going to talk about that, okay? And if you're watching this after, go check out my live videos. You'll see the earnings call if you want to kind of watch that webinar a little bit. But let's talk some NVDY here. NVDY is one of the biggest funds over at YieldMax. In fact, I think it's the second largest fund at YieldMax. But look at the different distributions. Last month, they paid twice. And so 82 and 89 cents. So this is double what they got last month. And so, I'd be happy with $1 every month and then put that other earnings into the fund, into the share price. But who am I, right? NVIDIA itself here over the last year down 28% in share price. Now, the reason it's down 28% share price is because it had some massive increases in share price prior to that, right? Last June. And then, it kind of dipped back down. Now, its initial share price was in the $20 range, right? $19.83. So it's still above when it came out. And it came out May 12th, 2023. And since then, it has paid out a crazy amount of distributions. The people that have owned NVIDIA from day one already made back their $19 plus a heck of a lot more. This $1.61 will definitely help that go in the same direction of being paid back. So I'm happy, but you know, I wish that maybe we didn't get as much so that the share price wasn't as affected by this distribution. So I'm happy, but I could be happier, that's for sure. Next is going to be the inverse fund of dips. This is the opposite direction of NVIDIA. They're looking for NVIDIA to go down. It paid out 58 cents. Dips is a disaster of a fund here. So it's down to $11.79. Maybe I should not be so, what's the word? So extreme. It's not a disaster of a fund, but it's not something that I look to invest in. It's really hard to do inverse funds. And so, especially with NVIDIA going up, then this is going to go down. Now, tonight, if they have a massive failure, then this could go up, right? That's something to think about. So that's going to be dips, dip. Let's go take a look at dips here on YieldMax's website. So pretty standard distribution here. It's its 7th distribution this month here. And again, it's paying 58 cents, very similar to the other months. All right, let's move on to Phoebe. FBY, it's a Facebook meta play right here. 47 cents for this. Facebook didn't do too much over the last month here, but Phoebe, 47 cents. Take a look at the other distributions here, a little bit lower than last month, but higher than the 2 months before that. So, pretty standard for Phoebe. It doesn't really fluctuate too much. Its share price is also fairly stable here. This is one of those funds, though, where you would have been better off investing in the underlying of Meta. When this first came out, you would have been a heck of a lot richer than you are today. But that's going to be your Phoebe talk. You're welcome. Let's talk about GDXY paying out 44 cents. This is your gold play. 44 cents is a little lower than last month, but this is what? It's 9th. Oh man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can't believe I counted 9 just like that. Holy smokes, I'm on fire today. But 44 cents. I would expect this GDXY to be a lot higher right now. Gold's hitting its all-time high price right now. So, it's a gold miner's option income, so it's not necessarily trading right on gold, but gold's hitting all-time highs, right? So, not as volatile, obviously. Gold's pretty boring. It's not like Bitcoin and like cryptocurrencies or anything like that, but that's your GDXY. Next up, we got Babo. Holy smokes. I didn't see that when I was putting this together. $1.91 for Babo. That's insane. That's by far its largest distribution so far. Babo's share price is up a little bit since it came out. Look at that nice little cup down below there, starting all the way up at $25 in October, going all the way down to $16 in January. So a month and 3 days later, we're sitting at $23, right? So in that month and 3 days, is up 46% in share price. Alibaba, that's a massive distribution. I kind of understand it being so high with a 40, what did I just say? Let's do it again. 46% increase in share price in the last month here. So yeah, that's pretty good. Congratulations to Babo shareholders. Next, JPMO, 29 cents. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. What did I just say? 29 cents. Ugh, gross. Look at the last one, 69 cents, but 29 kind of falls in line with the other ones. This is a pretty boring ETF. It doesn't pay a ton, but not a big fan of that staircase down either. If you look at JP Morgan, price of JP Morgan in that same period is up a little bit, so it would have been make more economical sense to probably invest in JP Morgan. And on that note, this is not financial advice, just entertainment. So if you're entertained, if you enjoy this content even a little bit, hit the like button for me. I'd love to see it so more people can see it. Next up, let's talk about YieldMax worst fund. Murny, MRNY paying out 23 cents. You can see it's pretty standard compared to the last 4 months here. MRNY, $3.66. It is on its way to being reverse split or potentially just delisted off YieldMax's fund. So, think about it that before you invest money in MRNY. Next, everybody's newest favorite is PLTY, and congratulations to you today, but not yesterday or the day before. Paying out $5.93, officially the highest payment that YieldMax has ever made in the history of YieldMax is this one right here, PLTY. $5.93. That's incredible. Now, if we take a look at the last 5 days here, we're down 14%. But in the last month, you're up 9% still. And this thing just came out in October. So since then, it's up 39%. This is a massive payment. If you had bought at $51, $5.93, you're looking at a 10% payment of your original investment just in 1 month. That's incredible. That's incredible. That's what that is. That's incredible. Let's go down and let's take a look at the fund with a little bit more detail here. $5.93. So this is its 5th payment. How much has it paid so far? Let's just do the quick math here. 5, 6, 50, 9, 10. Let's call it 12. Let's just call it 12 plus, let's call it plus another 6. Let's call it $18 in distributions in the last 5 months. That's pretty good. So you're at about a 20% return, give or take a buck or two here, everybody. You're at almost a 20% return in 5 months. Plus you have share appreciation in that time if you bought right away. So you're probably feeling pretty happy, except for the most recent bubble pop. People asked, are you invested in PLTY? I'm not. And I don't necessarily like buying things when they're at all-time highs, especially on these single funds because, bad news can happen. Palantir received bad news. The government in the U.S. said they wanted to drop spending on the military by 14%. Guess what happened? Pop, right? Palantir went down instantly. So did PLTY because of that. But it's it's a strong company, that's for sure. It's an up and coming company. It's strong. The future looks very bright for them, and that volatility is high. That's for sure. That's why you're getting such a massive distribution. We have one more. It's Mara, which is a fund that follows the underlying stock Mara, which is a Bitcoin mining company, paying out $1.55. That's pretty huge. Mara came out kind of at a rough time here, but they're paying out massively. So $2.49, $2.10, and then this payment here of $1.55. That's for sure. It's massive. Let's take a look at the 1 year on this thing, though. Came out December 10th at $47, and ever since then it's down 44%. So that's not good. It's not good. Mara's not a very expensive stock to purchase, and so for me, if I were to invest in Mara, which I've invested in its counterpart or its opponent in the crypto mining world, Riot, and did my own covered calls on it. And so it didn't cost me a lot to get invested into Riot. It probably wouldn't cost you a ton to get into Mara and do it yourself, right? So figure out the positives, the negatives, how much you stand to lose if you do your own options. But I'm not a big fan of share price dropping 44% in 3 months. It's not good, everybody. Okay, even though you're getting these huge distributions, that's not good. This fund has $34 million in it. There you go. So what do you guys think about the distributions? What do you feel was the best one? For me, NVDY is going to be good. What I plan on doing with the NVDY distribution is taking the whole sum. I'm going to put it on Misty, MSTY. So on Monday, I'm going to make that purchase, MSTY, and I'm going to keep building that MSTY fund up a little bit. And see where it goes, right? We'll see where it goes. Buy low, sell high. It's good advice for everybody. But hey, if you're watching this and you're free at 5 o'clock tonight, or even if you're not, I've gone ahead and registered here to share the NVIDIA earnings call. Last one was kind of interesting, right? But we did learn a lot. You know what we learned on the last earnings call? They said that they plan on having a weak quarter or two. So this will be one quarter right here. And when they said weak, they said that they don't expect 100% growth like they did the quarters before, but 30% growth. Let's see tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern if that pans out to being true. If you haven't subscribed yet, my name is Mike. This channel is Health and Wealth. Hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you as part of the team. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye for now.